The View just proved again that if Trump actually saved a drowning baby, they'd still find him guilty of animal cruelty for starving the sharks. But in one shining moment last year, one of ABC's daytime drama divas couldn't decide if she was pro-baby, pro-Trump, or just drunk.
I promise I will wear a MAGA hat for one day on the show and say, thank you for doing it. Yeah. She'll knock it right off my head. But like, you have to be able to cheer for wins when
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call a promise with the expiration date shorter than CNN's credibility. This week, however, after 2,000 years of conflict, Trump finally made the impossible a reality. MSNBC's very own Orange Man Bad brokered a peace deal. Now there's a lot of hard work ahead of us, but the hostages are back. The headlines are real. Shalom is the word of the day. So, back in American soil, back in the Big Apple, you still had one hyperventilating hyena of the View who once promised to wear a MAGA hat for world peace, vanished into witness protection when peace broke out. Welcome back to FAFO, where crazy bounces the check and karma shows up to collect the bill. It's day 7 of Flip-Flop Gate, where Queen Flip-Flopper herself, Alyssa, still hasn't put on the red hat. She still hasn't kept her word. She's still showing that she has no character, but she did something amazing. Caught my attention. She actually went and cashed in 2 coupons for courage in the clearance aisle. Also, she could find the nerve to speak up. Brother, this one's a doozy.
I think Steve Witkoff and I think Jared Kushner do deserve credit for this deal. They actually personally met with Hamas. I used to be of the mind we don't negotiate with terrorists, but sometimes the only way to get peace is to sit down with some of the most evil people and try to come up with what we can do to end the bloodshed. So thank God, I pray that this peace holds.
So let me get this straight. She thanked Trump. She thanked God. She even admitted the fact that sometimes you have to sit down with evil when you want to get peace. But no MAGA hat. She didn't keep her word. If you're tired of people like that in the media, if you're tired of being lied to and you only want the truth, hit subscribe now, because this is FAFO. We don't deal in narratives, just reality with a wrecking ball. And the video that you just saw of Alyssa, Farah Flip-Flopper, she didn't show courage. That was just Hollywood cowardice. What she proved that she is willing to face head-on Hamas itself rather than face joyless Behar and her spiritual soulmate, Whoopi the Wonder Whiner. But it gets better than that, folks. The boss that she decided to backstab and betray was the president of the United States. She used to work for him in his first term, and he remembers her name. So what you're about to hear is just more evidence that Trump doesn't hold a grudge, but he keeps archives.
Glowing letter, beautiful letter. And then she got hired by The View, and they gave her a couple of bucks, and she changed her view very quickly. I never thought she'd make it. Never thought she had what it took in any way. You know what that means. But she's on The View. But it just shows what a fraud The View is, because this woman gave me letters and statements. She said I was the greatest president in her lifetime. Now, she's not that old, so I didn't consider it a great compliment. But
ouch. That one had to hurt, but it wasn't a burn. That was a blowtorch from a man with the Secret Service clearance. But you can tell the irony is thick here. When we're listening to The View or we're listening to President Trump, The View never used to go full Banshee level. At one point in time, they actually loved the guy. Hell, go back a decade. You have Whoopi and the gang treating him like he was the 6th Spice Girl. It's Richie Spice. So now I want to roll the clip. I want you to see for yourself what the media doesn't want you to have. The facts and the truth and nothing but the truth. Take a look.
Is a billionaire, a real estate mogul, and a television star. But does he really want to add president of the United States to his resume? A lot of people would like him to. Please, let's find out, and please welcome my friend, Donald Trump.
That's how he used to treat him. Yep, you noticed that, right? They weren't calling him fiend or fascist, but good friend. There was no hate, not a hate monger, not a dictator, just loves, kisses, and a lot of warm hugs. That's how it used to be. If you go back even a decade earlier, you can even hear right here in a second, Joyless Behar actually calling Trump an outstanding American, an upstanding American, and someone she trusts. The only sad part is that was way back in 2003, way before the iPhone ever came out. So no one caught the pigs flying in the sky on an iPhone.
The guy wears a tube.
He says that it's his own hair. So I believe him because I believe Donald. He's an upstanding American.
Yeah.
But America doesn't believe him. We've gotten, a letter poured in yesterday. I'm asking, is that really his hair?
Oh my God.
Okay, you ready? Come in. Just check it out.
No, it's true. It's real.
It's not very pretty, but it's real.
You're starting to get the picture, right? Back then, it was all pure fun and warm welcomes. Everybody's favorite billionaire that every celebrity wanted to take a selfie with. And poof, overnight, he became Hitler in a red tie. Now, isn't it amazing how fast virtue inflates for some people? How quickly they get on their moral high horse when their checks are tied to their bonus ratings. See, that was way back when the mainstream media still kept their masks on tight. Back before Hollywood became a hate machine and Robert De Niro got lost in his role as a grouchy old man with a make-believe grudge, all to keep the gravy train rolling so he could continue to profit from those who made money off of hate. And today, that old broken down raging bull is doing the same thing The View is, just trying to whip up a riot and only to stay relevant.
This protest was 250 years ago. Americans decided they didn't want to live under the rule of King George III. They declared their independence and fought a bloody war for democracy. We've had 2.5 centuries of democracy since then. Often challenging, sometimes messy, always essential. And we've fought in 2 world wars to preserve it. Now we have a would-be king who wants to take it away. King Donald I. That.
What an idiot. Number one, there were no Kings protests 250 years ago. That's right, folks. You just heard from Bobby Boy's failed American history class. He's trying to compare a literal fight against a monarchy with muskets to being triggered by a president who posts memes on social media and then takes a dinner break to rescue hostages and return them back to their families. But that's precisely the point. That is the media's blueprint. They do not want you to be able to tell the difference between fact and fiction. They want you lost and confused, so anytime they need to, they can just get a celebrity, stand them in front of a podium, have them smile for the camera, stab for a clip, and then cash their check and go home. But here's the good news, everybody. Some people have stopped living on MSNBC. Some people have started living on planet Earth. They're tuning all the crazy out. They've opened their eyes. They're now listening with their ears, and they're feeling better for it. Just like veteran British actress Frances Barber. She said this week that her entire life changed. Doctor Who star Frances Barber says the president's Gaza peace deal cured her Trump derangement syndrome. Veteran British actress Frances Barber says she had harbored and shown irrational disdain toward President Donald Trump until he brokered an historic peace deal between Israel and Hamas, bringing dozens of hostages home and bringing an end to the war. I had TDS and I'm now eating my words, Barber said Monday about getting over her Trump derangement syndrome, reposting a photo showing a massive thank you message to President Trump written on a Tel Aviv beach. Guess what? She's not alone. One of Trump's historic haters, who certainly recently turned a corner. That's right, Bill Maher just showed everybody and reminded everyone what it's like to be an American citizen again. He just reminded everyone what it's like to be a human being again, even when you disagree with someone.
Up for enormous success on any level.
I
You know,
agree.
Trump, not my choice, didn't vote for him, but
But
somehow,
a lot of people did.
and he's, I can't deny the success.
I can't either.
Yeah.
And he's the president.
And he's the president.
Imagine that. Humility from Hollywood's high priest of sarcasm. Good news. Maybe the fever's finally breaking. If it does, fantastic. If not, we still know that the era of manufactured outrage just got its eviction notice. The truth won. This is FAFO, always forward.